So again, my name is Cesara Johnson. I am a business educator and I'm the creator of Seen versus Shadow. Seen versus Shadow is to help you maneuver the world of office politics and business politics with your morality, integrity, and your health intact, because the game of office politics can be very, very rough if you're not prepared. The Seen versus Shadow world is the world of documented versus undocumented culture. It's the world of ethical versus unethical versus the manipulation of the definition of the word ethics. So again, I'm here to talk to you about how to maneuver the game of office politics with your integrity, with your morality, with your health in check. So if you're here to try to be, someone who's cruel to other people, this Seen versus Shadow is not for you. Again, it's to help people who want to do right in business and they need help to do it. So we're going to talk about retaliation. So in the Seen world, thank you for that. The Seen world is the documented world. So that's the business world that you see, and that's documented in your employee handbook. So it's actually it's the open culture, not the hidden culture, but the open culture of business, as seen in, again, your employee handbook, public policies. Seen world, it's the world that really wants to do right by you in business. So the employee handbook talks about the things that the business will do and the expectations of what you should do as well. Now there's a shadow world. There's a shadow world where and it can happen in the same business. There can be a seen side that really wants to do right by you, but then there's a shadow world that will protect the business if it feels like its bottom line, which is money, or its reputation is in jeopardy, okay? And the shadow world will use retaliation that cannot be proven. Okay, so again, the Seen world wants to protect you against retaliation, but the shadow world will make sure that the retaliation can never be proven. So how does the shadow world do that? The use of the rumor mill is one example. So let's say that you become a threat to someone and they want to use office politics against you. So number one, you could be a threat to them in their own job or their own position, or they could have done something unethical against you, such as harassment, like sexual harassment or something where you probably can actually prove that it happened. Okay, and it's a threat to their jobs. So what they'll use is an indirect retaliation, such as the rumor mill. The idea is to change, and thank you for the hearts, please keep them coming. The idea is to change the perception of how people think of you, and to get the rumor mill to change it so much so that the original rumor cannot be traced back to the person who was threatened by you. Okay, because you all know that if you tell someone something and you let that chain go on and on and on and on and on, by the time it gets to like the 20th person, the original thing that you said, or the original phrase that you said is totally changed. And you're like, well, that's not what I actually said. So the idea is to use the rumor mill to change perception of you, to almost distract the Seen world, or the human resources or investigators or anyone. It's to distract them from the fact that you can prove something against the person who's targeting you. So what does the rumor mill do? It causes a mob mentality, right? Where in that mob mentality, even if you're a good person, people like to join in and say, oh, did you hear this? Or did you hear that? Did you hear this? Another thing that it causes is social ostracizing. The idea is to socially ostracize you so much so to get you to quit before an investigation occurs for what the actual offense is. Also, lack of promotions. Even if you are a great person and people know that you are a high performer, if someone can change the perception of who you are, people will not want to promote you because people don't like trouble. Even if you are the victim of the retaliation or the victim of harassment, People don't like trouble. So it'll halt you from promotions until the rumor dies down or till the trouble dies down. So the idea is for you to be aware that these things occur. You have to make sure that you are thick-skinned, and thank you for sharing. You have to make sure that you are thick-skinned, and you also have to be aware that this is a possibility that could happen to you if you're ever a threat to someone, okay? So I don't want you to be unaware. The idea is for you to stay strong by being aware of these sorts of tactics. So number one, know that people are willing to do this to you, okay? Number one, know that people are willing to do this to you. Every business does not have a shadow side. So I want to make that very clear. Every business does not have a shadow side, but that is no excuse for you not to be prepared for when it happens, okay? Because that's part of the game of business politics. One thing I want you to do is stay encouraged, because know that when someone lies on you like that, they will always get caught, or they will always reap what they sow. Even if it doesn't happen immediately, it will happen. People will reap what they sow. Number two, again, I want you to expect that this kind of indirect retaliation is a possibility, so that you're not caught unprepared. So the next scope that we'll have will actually talk about actual moral tactics, ethical tactics that you can use to survive retaliation, okay, or survive indirect retaliation. So thank you so much for joining. And again, the next scope will be how you can survive indirect retaliation such as that. Have a great day. Again, you can go to www.seenversusshadow.com for more information. Take care. Bye-bye.